Good afternoon and welcome to Pope John High School and Pope John Middle School in Sparta, New Jersey. For today's kickoff and home opener for the Pope John 10 and under squad, the Lions taking on the Sayreville Junior Bombers. Mike Formasano along with you. Opening kickoff getting started a little late today due to thunderstorms in the area. We are at 4:27 in the afternoon. And kickoff starting now as Sayreville is looking to kick off from their own 40-yard line. Let's do it. Sayreville versus Pope John. Here's the kickoff down the field. Picked up by Pope John off the helmet of one of the linemen, 96, and he is taken down at about the 42, maybe 43-yard line. Play from scrimmage. The quarterback, number 23, Sean Klebitz, is behind center. 3 in the backfield. Benny Platt, the tailback, and the handoff goes to Platt. Number 5 goes across the 46 into the 47, and it's be a gain of about 4 for the Lions. 2nd and 6 to go. Third down, Klebitz goes ahead and hands it off to the tailback. Across the 50-yard line down to about the 48, they're going to come up about a yard shy, and that'll bring up 4th down. Klebitz will hand it off to Platt. Platt gets tripped up at the 49, and it'll be a turnover on down. Sayreville will take over. So, the Lions moving now to defense. Here's the opening play from scrimmage for Sayreville on offense. Quarterback under center. He's a snap in the shotgun, and he'll roll out to the left, trying to get around the end. He does. He's down to the 40. Now the 30, the 25, the 20, all the way down to about the 10. And the Lions finally bring him down at about the 6-yard line. So a huge gainer for Sayreville as they are in, about the 5 or 6-yard line. I'm going to mark it the 5. So 1st and goal for the Bombers at the 5-yard line. Shotgun. Rolls to his right. One Pope John player after him. He turns the corner. Is he able to get in? He's in. Touchdown, Sayreville. The Bombers go up 6-0. On Pope John. Pope John. We'll see what happens the rest of the game. Here's the handoff up the middle. No good. Pope John stands him up at the goal line. So Sayreville's not able to get in. And the Lions keep this game 6-0. Well, here's the kick by Sayreville. Picked up by number 88. That's Noah Krause. And Krause will fall on it. And Pope John will start from about the 42-yard line. About the same place that they did on their opening drive. They failed to get a first down. Then Sayreville was able to march it down the field quickly, get into goal territory, and able to punch it through on the right side. It's nothing Sayreville here. About halfway through the first quarter. Mike Formasano along with you joining us for this game. Thanks for joining us. Pope John up to the line. Lions in their home blues, trimmed by white and gold. Here's the handoff up the middle. That is number 61, Anthony Grego. Grego takes it for about 8. And so it'll be 2nd and 2. Lions come out of the huddle. Here's the snap. Klebitz takes it, gives it to the fullback. And up the middle for Pope John, 1st down. Down to the 44-yard line. Lions have their first down of the game. Klebitz hands it off to Platt. Platt up the middle, rolls to his right. Gets around one defender, now another. Platt still going and finally brought down at the Sayreville 39. So, a gain of about 7 for Benny Platt. And the Lions will have a 2nd and 3. 4th and 11. Klebitz will throw the ball. Gets downfield. It's tipped by Sayreville, incomplete. And a turnover on downs. Klebitz was going for number 96. But too far out of his reach, and it was tipped by the quarterback for Sayreville, and now the Bombers will take over. 3:02 to go here, first quarter. Bombers up on the Lions. 6 from their own 47-yard line. Bombers in the shotgun. Man in motion. Handed off to the man in motion. Comes across the right side, down to the left, down to the bottom of your screen. Still on his feet. Finally brought down at about the Pope John 45. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 2. Timeout on the field. 2:47 to go. Sayreville and Pope John. We got an injured lion on the field as the coaching staff comes out to attend to 47 to go, first quarter. Sayreville on top of Pope John, 6-0. So the referee spot the ball at the 45 of Pope John. Sayreville in the shotgun. 6 on the line for Pope John. Now the running back goes ahead and cuts through to about the 42-yard line, and that's good enough for Sayreville, first down. Quarterback in the shotgun, man in motion, hands it off. No, he keeps it. He'll roll to his left. He's got a blocker, and he continues up to the 30, to the 25, and finally brought down at about the 18-yard line. Quarterback in the shotgun, man off the right in motion, hands off to him, and he cuts through the left side, and he's down to about the 16, maybe 15-yard line. A gain of 3. It'll be second down, and it looks like that will commence to start the second quarter. As time winds down here on the new scoreboard at Pope John High School and Middle School, they replaced the old one from last year. It looks brilliant. But the score does not for Pope John, as Sayreville leads at the end of the first quarter, 6-0. We are underway as we start the second quarter, as the handoff goes to the running back for Sayreville to the right, brought down at about the 10-yard line by the Pope John defense. That looked to be number 40, Jacob Jessamaria, with the tackle. Now number 8, Charlie Forbesano, coming into the game for the Pope John Junior Lions on the defense. 6-0. It goes to the left. Runner goes ahead and avoids the tackle. Now trying to get around the corner. He breaks down the tackle and into the end zone for a Sayreville touchdown. The Bombers, on 2 rushing touchdowns now, have built a 12-0 lead. Sayreville up to the line, attempting the extra point. Here it is. Fumble. And Pope John looks to have recovered, so no extra point for Sayreville. So that will keep the score 12-0. Here's the kick from the 40-yard line down to about the Pope John 40, and it's picked up there by number 11 for Pope John. He'll turn the corner, come up the middle. Damian Morales brings it to the 50-yard line for Pope John. So a good return for Morales, and the Lions will start at midfield. Clements takes the ball, hands it off, fumble, and it looks like Sayreville has recovered. So, fumble by the running back for Pope John. And the Bombers recover. That looks like Platt, who dropped it at about the 48-yard line, trying for a little extra yardage, and it just scored it out before his knee touched down. Sayreville jumps on it, and the Bombers will take over. Quarterback in the shotgun from their own 48. Number 2, he'll take it, roll right, and a defender to meet him. That's Clements. Clements holds him up. Now, a couple of other defenders come in, and they bring him down for a loss. Great defensive play by Pope John, and a loss of 8. As Sayreville goes back to their own 40-yard line. Running, 8:10 to go here in the first half. The Bombers up 12-0. They are on their 40-yard line, 2nd and 18. Here's the run to the left. Clements and Platt able to bring down number 36 for Sayreville. Great defensive play by Pope John. Only a gain of 1 there for the Bombers. And that'll make it 3rd and long. One man in the backfield. Here's the snap. Tried to hand it off, but the rusher wasn't there, and so now he rolls out to the right. Number 2, around the corner, because he breaks the corner, down to the 50, to the 45. Enough for the first down, and he's brought down at the 39-yard line. Tough break for Pope John. It looked like they had him for a loss in the backfield. He was able to squirt free, roll up the right side on the far side of the field, and was able to get past the first down marker. And so Sayreville with a first down at the Pope John 38-yard line. He'll keep it, rolls around the left. Clements got a hand on him, and he's still on his feet. To the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Sayreville. So Clements had him in his grasp, but the quarterback eluded him on a second effort. We do have a flag down on the play, so let's see what the referees say. And it's a face mask against the defense. So it looks like the 5 yards will go on the kickoff. Sayreville back to the hash mark for the point after attempt. They come out of the huddle. Quarterback in the shotgun. Tailback in the backfield behind him. Is the snap. He keeps it. He rolls to his left. Now cuts through the middle. Now rolls back out to the left. Finds the corner of the end zone. And the extra point is good. So that will bring the score to 19-0 in favor of Sayreville. Down the field it goes to about the 25-yard line. And it's kicked by a Pope John player. Down to 21. The Lions are able to jump on it. That's number 4, Connor Hart, who saves the Lions from disaster there, falling on the ball and making sure Sayreville didn't recover. Clements barks out the signals. He'll keep it. Now hand it off to number 8. 8 rolls around the corner. He goes to his left side. Down to the 30 and brought down just at about the first down marker. We'll see if he got enough for the first. All right, Pope John up to the line. Here's a handoff. Pitch back to Platt. Platt to the right side, trying to get around 2 defenders. The second one trips him up, but not before he gains about 2, maybe 3. Getting down to, we'll say the 34 is where the referee's going to mark it. Number 51 with the carry there. 2:25 to go, second quarter. Clements behind center. 2 men in the backfield. Hands it off to Platt. Platt to the right. Platt barreling his way down to about the 43-yard line. And that's good enough for another Pope John first down. Pope John, 2 consecutive first downs. Now over to 51. Takes 1 hit, stays on his feet. Now he cuts through and gets into Sayreville territory. Down to about the 48-yard line. About a 9-yard run. Number 51. And we got a timeout on the field and a Sayreville player who's down. The line. He'll take it, hold on to it, throws it downfield to his receiver, and through the hands of number 96. That would have been a big gainer for Pope John, but he wasn't able to hold on. Nice pass play by Clements. Ball was maybe a little high for 96. Reached up, got his hands on it, but just wasn't able to bring it home. Minute 13 to go. Here's a snap, flip back to Platt. Platt through the right side. Brought down at about the 35, maybe 36-yard line. The flag on the play. Holding against Pope John. And that will bring them back. Third down here for Pope John. So 3rd and 21. Here's Clements in the backfield. Clements will fire it downfield. And it's intercepted by Sayreville. 3 defenders around number 96 there. And number 5 is able to make the interception. And the Bombers will take over as the Pope John drive stalls with 22 seconds to go here in the first half. Starting from their own 36. Quarterback under center. Man in motion. Nope. Goes to the tailback. Now on the right side. Breaks 1 tackle. Now trying to turn the corner. Up on the top of the field. Now to the 50. To the 40. Down to the 35, the 30. He's gone. 20, 15, 10, 5 touchdown. Sayreville with the rushing touchdown from their own 36. And Pope John's got a player down as well. As we run out of time here in the second quarter. So the Pope John Lions coach is out to the field to check on the player. The player back on his feet, and that is Sean Clements. Clements is walking off, so very good to see for Pope John. So Sayreville in the huddle. Once we finish with this point after attempt, we'll go into halftime. Pope John at the line. From the 2, Sayreville coming out. 1 man down to the line of scrimmage. Now the rest of the team follows. Bombers quarterback in shotgun, 1 man behind him. Here's a snap. He'll roll to his left. Throws down Reception's made, and they turn the corner. Is he in? No! Pope John knocks him out of bounds just before the pylon. And so, no extra point for Sayreville. They are 1 for 4 in that category here today. But the Bombers have scored 4 touchdowns, and they lead going into halftime over the Pope John Junior Lions, 25-0. Welcome back to Pope John High School and Middle School here from Sparta, New Jersey, as the Pope John Junior Lions 10 and under squad take on the Sayreville Junior Bombers. Mike Formasano here along with you, calling second half action as the Bombers have jumped out to a 25-0 lead over the Pope John Junior Lions. Kick off from the 40-yard line as we start the second half here. Players just waiting for the last signals from the referees to get started. Again, 25-0 Sayreville on top of the Pope John Junior Lions as we start the third quarter. We'll start. Quarterback takes the snap, number 1, hands it off to number 5. He goes into the left, rolling around the corner, trying to break free, gets around, now to the 40. He's brought down at the 39-yard line, and a Sayreville first down. Here's the pitch back to the quarterback, handoff to number 26 for Sayreville. He's brought down in the backfield. Number 64 with tackle. And Pope John getting the job done on the defensive end there. Big play by the Lion defense. So the Bombers back up to the line at the Pope John 49. Man in motion. Hand off to that man, number 8. And he's brought down in the backfield. Pope John with the big defensive play there. And that's Jacob Jessamaria making the tackle. Jessamaria making it up for his penalty a few downs ago. And so that drops Sayreville back for a loss. And it's 4th down. Ball's at the 44 for Sayreville. We'll see what they do with 4th down here. Yeah, you'd like to see Pope John just get on the board, get a touchdown, get something underneath their belt, and they can build on that as we go along. So this would be a huge defensive stop for a Pope John and their psyche and morale, being able to stand up to the Sayreville offense right here. 4:50 to go, third quarter. The Bombers lead 25-0. Here's the snap to the quarterback. Handoff. Nope, fake by the quarterback. He gets down to 46, trying to get around the left, but he's brought down by Benny Platt, and a turnover on down. Here's the snap to the quarterback. Handoff. Nope, fake by the quarterback. He gets down to 46, trying to get around the left, but he's brought down by Benny Platt, and a turnover on downs, and Pope John will take over. Here's the snap, handed off to the fullback. That's number 8. He brings it down to about the 38-yard line, but no more. And so it'll be 4th down and maybe 3 to go for the Lions. It is. Hand off to Platt. Platt to the right side. Can he get to the 35? He does. And then some. Platt's still on his feet, and he fumbles. And it looks like Pope John did recover, however. So, number 40, Jacob Jessamaria falling on that Platt fumble. He got the first down, but the Lions do maintain possession. And so they'll start out 1st and 10 from the Sayreville 32. We'll give it off to 51. 51 rolls around to the right side and is brought down at the 25-yard line. So maybe a yard, maybe 2 for 51 on that running play, and it'll bring up 3rd down. 10 seconds to go here in the third quarter. I don't think the Lions are going to get another playoff, so. And that's it. Buzzer sounds at the end of the third quarter. Sayreville maintains a 25-0 lead on Pope John, but the Lions are driving, and we'll pick up the remainder of that drive as we start the fourth. 8:18 to go here, fourth quarter. Clements will throw it over to number 96, makes the reception, gets down to about the 16-yard line. So positive yardage there for the Lions as they try and break through into the end zone. It's now 3rd down now. It's under center. Hands it off to 51, right through the middle busting through, gets down to about the 12, 13. We get a flag in the play, however. We'll see what that's about. So he got down to about the 12-yard line. Just shy of the first down. We'll see what this penalty is all about. Here's Clemens. Hand off to Platt. Platt busts through down to about the 7, maybe the 6-yard line. They're going to mark him at the 7. Second and goal from the 7-yard line. Under center, 3 men in the backfield. Platt is the tailback. Platt takes the handoff. He comes through the center, down into the end zone. Touchdown, Lions! Benny Platt barrels his way through the line, and he gets into the end zone, and Pope John's on the board. It's now 25-6. Pitch to Platt. Platt on the right side trying to bust through. Did he get in? He fumbled at the goal line, but he broke the plane. He broke the plane and got in before he fumbled, and so the points count. The extra point for the Lions is good, and they make it a 25-7 game. So Pope John setting up for the kickoff from their own 40-yard line. Jess Maria will kick it down the field. It doesn't go far enough for the 10, but well, they roll it down at the 49 anyway. So it's still in Pope John territory. Sayreville will get the ball there. 3:48 to go here in the fourth quarter. Sayreville leads 25-7. Talking with the tailback. Last minute instructions. He's in the shotgun. Here's the snap. It's a high one. Hand off to the tailback. Met in the backfield by number 64 for Pope John. Brings him down, and he drops Sayreville for a loss. So that'll make it 2nd and 12 with 2:35 to go here in the fourth quarter. Pope John getting stronger and stronger as this game goes on. You know, with kids, that happens. You go ahead, you build some momentum, you get some confidence around themselves, and it goes on to bigger and better things. And that's what we'll be hoping for as we move on through this season. You want them to learn. You want them to go ahead and make improvements. And Coach Co Francesco's done a good job building his team around that. We see those results here in the fourth quarter. Sayreville down the field, however, they make a turn and they're off to the races. Number 2 is able to turn the corner there, so that will put the Bombers up. But we got a flag on the play. We'll see what that's all about. So, got a penalty. It's going against number 40, and that's going to be a game misconduct. Jacob Maria, he's out of the game. He goes to the sidelines. I did not see it as I went with the camera to the end zone there, looking at the Sayreville touchdown. It happened behind the play. But number 40, Jacob Maria, has been ejected from this contest. Here we go for the extra point opportunity for Sayreville. Quarterback runs to his right, talk things over with one of his team members. Hands it off to the tailback. Tailback goes through. No, it was a keeper by the quarterback. And did he get over the goal line? No, he did not. So, here's a positive for Pope John. You want to keep this in mind. The Lions have had to face 5 different extra point opportunities by Sayreville. They shut down the Bombers in 4 of those 5 today. So, even though you're down 31-7, it's good to see that. And, you know, you take little victories and you go from there. With the running clock down to 3 seconds, 2, 1. That's it from Pope John High School and Middle School today as the Sayreville Junior Bombers take out the Pope John Junior Lions. Final score here, Sayreville 31, Pope John 7. So, again, as we talked about, a couple of positives here for Pope John late in the game, and they did get on the scoreboard here at an extra point in the fourth quarter on a 7-yard touchdown run by Benny Platt. But it wasn't enough, and Sayreville will take the victory. That will drop Pope John to 0-2 on the season as they move on to next week. Next week will be Sunday at noon as the Pope John Junior Lions will take on the Riverview Chargers. Please join us at noon for that game here at Pope John High School and Middle School.